Today we are going to talk about one of the most unsettling chapters in the recent history, Jeffrey Epstein, a name that has become synonymous with scandal, abuse, and a multitude of unanswered questions. He was born and raised in New York City with his brother Mark Epstein and parents Pauline and Seymour Epstein. In high school, Epstein was an average boy and was affectionately nicknamed Epi. He graduated in 1969 from Lafayette High School, and for his further studies, he attended Cooper Union. But in September 1971, he left and joined Cornell Institute of Mathematical Science at New York University, although he left without receiving a degree in June 1974. Despite lacking credentials, Epstein started his professional life as a physics and mathematics teacher at Dalton High School in 1974. He was popular among students for having a charismatic and friendly personality. However, he was dismissed for poor performance and inappropriate behavior towards female students in 1976. Same year, Alan Greenberg offered him a job at Bear Stearns as a junior assistant to floor trader, but with his skills, he moved up to an option trader, and in no time, he was advising the bank's wealthiest clients. He was made a limited partner in 1980. However, a year later, he had to abruptly leave due to a Reg D violation. But still, he maintained close ties with Jim Kane, the bank's later CEO, and Greenberg. In 1981, Epstein started his own consultancy firm named Intercontinental Assets Group, which aided clients in recovering money from fraud brokers and lawyers. It was at this time he met Stephen Hoffenberg, who in 1987 offered him a position as consultant in Towers Financial Corporation, which in 1993 was exposed as one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in American history. Although he left the company in 1989, it was claimed by Hoffenberg that Epstein was also involved in the scheme. Still, he was never charged. In 1988, while still working for Hoffenberg, Epstein established a financial management firm named J. Epstein and Company, which only managed the assets of clients whose net worth was over $1 billion. Epstein became financial advisor of Leslie Wexner, CEO of L Brands in 1987. Moreover, in 1996, he changed the name of his company to Financial Trust Company and relocated it in islands of St. Thomas in US Virgin Islands for tax advantages and reduced his taxes by 90%. In 1998, he bought Little St. James, a private island where the crime against minors were committed by Epstein and his friends, due to which it acquired nicknames such as Island of Sin, Pedophile Island, Orgy Island, and Epstein Island. In March 2005, a woman reported to Palm Beach police that her 14-year-old daughter had been taken to Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, where she was allegedly paid $300 for inappropriate activities. A 13-month undercover investigation followed, revealing that Epstein had paid several girls for sexual acts with some under 18. The FBI joined the case after accusation of leniency, and evidence included hidden cameras and photos found in Epstein's home. In May 2006, Epstein faced a probable cause affidavit suggesting charges including unlawful sex with minors. On July 27, 2006, he was arrested on state felony charges and was released on a $3,000 bond. Epstein pleaded not guilty in August 2006 and was defended by lawyers including Roy Black, Gerald Lefcourt, Alan Dershowitz, and Ken Starr, with linguist Steven Pinker also assisting. In July 2006, the FBI initiated Operation Leap Year to investigate Jeffrey Epstein, culminating in 53 pages indictment in June 2007. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, Alexander Acosta, negotiated a plea deal granting immunity from federal charges to Epstein and four named co-conspirators. This controversial deal, later termed as Sweetheart Deal, sealed the indictment and was criticized for violating victims' rights, with Acosta admitting to poor judgment. Epstein pleaded in Florida State Court to two felony prostitution charges, serving 18 months in prison, registering as sex offender, and compensating identified victims. Acosta later said that he offered a lenient plea deal because he was told that Epstein belonged to intelligence and was above his pay grade and to leave it alone. On June 30, 2008, after pleading guilty to procuring prostitution charges from a girl below 18, Jeffrey Epstein was sentenced to 18 months in prison. He enjoyed privileges such as unlocked cell door, access to an attorney's room with a TV, and eventually was moved to Stockett's unstaffed infirmary. Epstein served almost 13 months and was released on July 22, 2009 under house arrest for a year of probation until August 2010. During probation, he had lenient travel allowances including trips on his private jet and outings for shopping and walks. After a contested hearing in January 2011, Epstein remained a level 3 sex offender in New York State, checking in with NYPD every 90 days. Jeffrey Epstein faced a multitude of legal cases with various individuals and entities. In 2008, Jane Doe No. 2 filed a $50 million lawsuit against Epstein, alleging sexual misconduct, and numerous similar lawsuits were settled outside of court. The case of Jane Doe vs. United States focused on violation of victim rights, challenging the 2008 non-prosecution agreement. Virginia Giuffre filed a lawsuit in 2015 accusing Epstein, Maxwell, Prince Andrew, and Alan Dershowitz of sexual trafficking with allegations of abuse by prominent figures. The 2016 case of Jane Doe vs. Epstein and Trump involved allegations of sexual assault against Epstein and Donald Trump. Sarah Ransom's 2017 lawsuit accused Epstein and Maxwell of sex trafficking settled in 2018. Maria Farmer's 2019 lawsuit detailed sexual assault allegations in 1996. Various accusers including Jennifer Arouse, Caitlin Doe, and Jane Doe filed lawsuits against Epstein estate in 2019, each recounting instances of abuse. On July 23, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was discovered injured and semi-conscious in his cell at 1:30 a.m. with mark around his neck. While correctional staff suspected attempted suicide, they didn't rule out staging or assault by another inmate. Following this, Epstein was put on suicide watch but was removed 6 days later, deemed to be in good spirits upon placement in special housing unit. Despite protocols requiring a cellmate and regular checks, these were not followed on the night of his death. Epstein's cellmate was transferred on August 9 and he was not checked every 30 minutes as mandated. On that night, two guards assigned to his unit fell asleep for about 3 hours. Records were falsified and two cameras malfunctioned. Epstein was found dead at Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on August 10, 2019 at 6:30 a.m. On August 11, 2019, an autopsy on Jeffrey Epstein suggested he violently threw himself off the cell stop bunk, potentially explaining the injuries, although strangulation couldn't be ruled out. The autopsy revealed multiple breaks in his neck bone, including the hyoid bone, which can occur in hanging, but it is more common in strangulation homicides. Forensic pathologist Cyril West argued that hanging by leaning forward wouldn't cause these cervical bone breaks. On August 16, 2019, New York City medical examiner Barbara Sampson officially ruled Epstein's death as suicide by hanging. However, Epstein's defense lawyers were dissatisfied with the conclusion and launched their own investigation and argued that the evidence was more consistent with murder than suicide. Independent pathologist Michael Baden, hired by Epstein's estate, observed the autopsy and concluded that the evidence pointed more toward homicide than suicide. A June 27, 2023 report by Department of Justice Inspector General criticized jail officials for repeated negligence but dismissed alternative theories affirming Epstein's death as suicide. Jeffrey Epstein was a well-connected person and had association with numerous prominent figures including Prince Andrew, Tom Barrack, Bill Clinton, George Stephanopoulos, Donald Trump, Katie Couric, Woody Allen, Naomi Campbell, Stephen Hawking, and Howard Winston. Despite being acquainted with Epstein, both Clinton and Trump denied visiting his private island. Epstein's private Boeing 727, dubbed the Lolita Express, was frequently used to travel, attracting attention for its arrival at Little St. James with unseemingly underage girls. In 2019, following Epstein's arrest, both Trump and Clinton distanced themselves from him. Trump in particular claimed not to be a fan of Epstein and said he hadn't spoken to him in about 15 years. Now let's talk about some of the big names accused of crimes against minors. Number 1. Prince Andrew. British royal family member Andrew Edwards was accused in documents of participating in an orgy with several underage girls. He had also allegedly called Epstein regularly and had visited the private island in past. He is also accused of dropping Johanna's breast while visiting Epstein's Manhattan apartment in 2001. Number 2. Bill Clinton. He is known to have taken several paint trips with Epstein, although the references do not detail any wrongdoing. Epstein's accuser Johanna testified as part of the case and said that Epstein told her that Clinton likes them young. She was unaware of Clinton engaging in any kind of sexual contact with minors at Epstein's invitation. Number 3. Stephen Hawking. The late British theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking also appeared in documents under accusation that he participated in an underage orgy. The filing revealed that Epstein told Maxwell she could offer money to Miss Giuffre's friend if they would come forward to contradict her claims about his activities. Number 4. Michael Jackson. He appeared on the Black Book, and Miss Johanna claimed Michael Jackson visited Epstein's Palm Beach house. However, there are no claim or evidence of him assaulting a minor. Number 5. David Copperfield. Miss Johanna said that American magician asked her if she knew whether the girls were getting paid to find other girls. However, he is also not accused for any wrongdoings. Number 6. Donald Trump. Donald Trump was in the Epstein's Black Book and marked with a circle. He and Epstein knew each other for a long time and attended parties together. He also allegedly used to call Epstein occasionally. Johanna told lawyers that when Epstein learned his plane couldn't land in New York City but was being diverted to Atlantic City, at that time he said, "Great, we will call up Trump and we will go to his casino." In another case, Ransom called Trump a pedophile and claimed that he had sex with many of Epstein's girls. However, Ransom retracted all of these claims later. Number 7. Jean-Luc Brunel. Jean-Luc Brunel provided passports for girls as young as 12 to work as model in the US according to a 2014 court filing. Court filing states a victim identified as Jane Doe 3 was trafficked to Brunel and forced to have sex with him on numerous occasions. Brunel died by suicide while he was being investigated for rape and supplying girls to Epstein. Number 8. Ellen Dershowitz. Jane Doe number 3 alleged she was forced to have sexual relationship with former Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz in a 2014 filing. The document also alleged Mr. Dershowitz was an eyewitness to the sexual abuse of other minors. In 2022, Mrs. Guffier dropped her defamation lawsuit against Mr. Dershowitz, claiming she may have made a mistake in identifying him as one of the men she was forced to have sex with. While we have discussed various accusations and allegations against individuals like Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Stephen Hawking, and others, it is crucial to remember that as of now, these are just legal accusations and no court has conclusively proven the guilt of any involved party. Legal processes are in place to ensure fair and just outcomes, and it is important to respect the legal framework as these cases unfold. In conclusion, I would like to talk about some questions that have been raised during this whole case. These questions demand our attention as we seek transparency, accountability, and justice. Number 1. How did Epstein, without proper credentials, secure a teaching position in high school? What oversight allowed this to happen? Number 2. Despite the severity of his crimes, why was Epstein granted a lenient deal? What factors influenced this decision? Number 3. Did Epstein truly had connections to intelligence, as suggested by Acosta? If so, what implication does this have on his case? Number 4. Why was Epstein given preferential treatment during his jail time? What factors contributed to this leniency? Number 5. Why wasn't the Austrian passport with his photograph listing a different name and Saudi Arabian residence thoroughly investigated? Number 6. If Epstein indeed recorded influential people's activities, what happened to those recordings? And why haven't they been used as evidence? Number 7. Why was Epstein taken off suicide watch after a previous attempt? Can the authorities explain the series of lapses in the procedure, including the failure to check his cell, the transfer of his cellmate, and the malfunctioning cameras? How likely is it for all the failures to occur simultaneously in a high security facility? Number 8. What measures are in place to ensure safety of Maxwell, who may have crucial information about involvement of big names in the Epstein case? Number 9. What steps are being taken to safeguard the well-being of victims who bravely testify in the court, considering the potential risk and pressure they may face? Number 10. Considering the likelihood that not every minor complied with Epstein's demand, we need to address a crucial question. What happened to the girls who didn't comply? And if by some chance they all did comply, it begs the question, what kind of training were they subjected to and who exactly was behind providing such training?